got a couple of poems for you. And since my birthday was just 13 days ago, I contemplated what is happening to my body. I thought a lot about my grandma, and you know, grandmas when I was a little kid looked a lot worse than grandmas do now. And I attribute that to the vaccinations we've all had, the antibiotics, and the good health care. So here we go. Over 70 years ago, my grandma told her sister, laughing, that we age downwards, with our legs going last. I remembered, and as my face wrinkled, my wattles shook, my upper arms took flight, my boobs drooped, my butt sagged, but my legs stayed firm. Grandma was always right. Thank you. Now, I have to tell you, and usually when Teri introduces me, she says I'm a political poet, because I'm always so mad, and it goes into my poetry. Ryan will probably get rid of that line. But I'm so mad at what's happening politically, and I'm so mad about the lies we are told, especially recently with the price of gas. So this poem is called Inflation Solution. And just to give you a little introduction of what we'll be doing on the third Wednesday of the month at 4 o'clock here, I'll tell you what an epigraph is. An epigraph is a quote from someone else's poetry or someone else's book that you put at the beginning of a chapter or a poem or even a book. And I made an epigraph of my own little stanza. So my poem, Inflated Solution, starts like this. Like bubbles and balloons, inflation has a flair for wreaking havoc like typhoons, filled only with hot air. As gasoline prices ballooned at the pumps, long haulers must still fill their thirsty trucks with inflated fuel costs added to products. Prices outpace income, so consumers are stuck. Wise pundits cite ways to curb inflation's beast. Reduced spending is what this situation dictates. To cool a dough rising, just add salt to yeast. So to deflate inflation, raise interest rates. All great suggestions. But cooling the economy needs investigation. Isn't hiking lending rates just usury, quite brazen? Those forced to borrow with greater debt are laden. Where loan sharking thrives, poverty will hasten. But didn't it all just start with low oil prices? So OPEC made their oil supplies decrease. Intentionally, they caused a supply and demand crisis that resulted in our gas pump insane costs increase. So don't blame us for worldwide inflation. It was clearly OPEC's insatiable greed. But what if we found our own solution and made and drove electric cars, trucks, and buses instead? Thank you.
Hello, friends. friends. I'm glad to be back. So I'm going to start out with a love poem for all you hopeless romantics. Is there any hopeless romantics in the room? Make some noise. So the first one is called Simon. It wasn't the way he said hello to me. It was the way he showed that he cared. When he saw my naked body for the first time and he told me I was beautiful. It's the way he kissed my body, every inch, every curve, every stretch mark. It's the way he told me he loved me and he kept coming back. The way he proved he loved me and did not want me just for my body. It is people like that we do need more of. We need more people like Simon. Simon is one of those people that you only imagine to see in Disney movies. Simon is and always will be one of the most caring people I have ever laid my broken eyes on. He is an angel in disguise, you could say, but let's not stop there. It's the way he smiles when he gets excited about things. It's the way he laughs, the way he talks. It's the way he looks at me like he's never seen something so beautiful before. It's the way he just looks so amused by the small things. It's the way he says, I love you. And in reality, I think I love him too. My next one, I'm going to give a trigger warning. It is about a sexual assault that I went through, so if that is triggering to any of you, just feel free to step out. So it's called stoplights. In school, I was taught the stoplight system. Green, yellow, red. Go, slow, stop. In health class, we learned if someone crosses our boundaries to use the stoplight system. Green, yellow, red. Sounds easy, right? It was easy until I went to my first party. I remember I had a little too much to drink and found myself blacked out in a room. Light green walls, yellow sheets. I thought I was alone, but I wasn't. I was accompanied by an unfamiliar face taking advantage of my weak, lifeless body. Green, yellow, red. I tried to use the system. He only got more aggressive. The more and more I tried to push him off, the worse it got. So I gave up and let it happen. And that was the day that the stoplight system was ruined for me.
The chupacabras in my mind are still there dancing, but for some odd reason, the distortion and the delay is not working. So Steve in his majestic red shirt has come to fix the problem. And now we're gonna go into another dimension, space and time. We're gonna warp you, and I don't know what else, but this is the noise that goes in my brain. Up, 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 and up. In the elevator I go to my apartment. I look out across the city, and I wonder how many lost souls are there tonight? How many lost souls are there tonight? The clouds pile up further and further along the horizon. The moon comes out like a hooker, lazily sauntering in the sky, waiting for a John that will never arrive due to no one wanting to put any rockets on the moon anymore. And I wonder, when will the next people visit the moon? And that's as far as it goes, because no one's doing nothing. We're all here down fighting over this and that. Wars, famine. I don't want to live in Europe this winter. They will suffer, and a lot of them will die. No gas from Russia, and the war drags on and on, month after month. Will it ever end? Will China and North Korea side? with Russia and attacked the Ukraine, drawing the rest of the world into World War III. I don't know. And there in the audience wanders Dave, looking this way and that way. Oh, now he's looking at the stage. I see you, Dave. Are you going to read some poems tonight? We need you to read poems, as well as all the other people. And I think I'll stop this here. But thank you anyways for letting me in here.
Okay, here we go. So, you know, life has its ups and downs, and, you know, July was a little bit harder, but August has been like self-soothing and healing. But some of the stuff that I'll read tonight might be a little bit triggering for people who are having troubles with like mental health challenges, you know. Okay, so here we go. This poem doesn't have a name. It is not often I am shook to my core, but there have been earthquakes, shattering the strongest foundations, creating deep and wide fissures, causing my surroundings to become unfamiliar. The sparrows are even sounding the alarms. It is not often I am shook to my core, and I am shook. Okay, here's another one with no name. Hurt, salt in the wound, stab, twist, push, echoing sobs, anchored down, out of breath, boiling over, exploding and imploding, stinging and burning sensations. If one more person tells me to breathe, then I will lose my. Don't talk to me. I'm distressed and distraught. I'm barely holding on, barely even keeping it together. Your words make it worse. Don't give me advice. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to feel. Don't touch me. Just give me space. Maybe even hold some space for me. Let me breathe. Let me think. My brain already moves 1,000,000 miles per hour. I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to manage my emotions. I'm actively trying not to react and make stupid decisions. I can't really have a conversation right now. I can barely deal.
One is the power of poetry. I wanted to thank you and you and you and all of you for sharing your poetry with me. Sharing the sadness, the joy, the frustrations, the humor, the beauty, sharing your thoughts, your hopes, and your dreams. Every time you share your poems, you share more than words with me. You share a sacred piece of you. And as we share, we relate, we connect, and we bond with each other in a deep, meaningful way. Because when I see you for who you truly are, I appreciate you more than if we had a superficial talk about the weather. Thank you for sharing the sadness, the joy, the frustrations, the humor, the beauty, sharing your thoughts, your hopes, and your dreams. Thank you for sharing your poetry with me. The next one is called To All Artists. Artists have deep feelings. They may suffer from setbacks, but they find treasures in the simple things in life. Artists will hear the birds and soar on the wings of music. Artists' imagination is vivid, and when it flows freely, they produce masterpieces with their pencils and brushes. Their imaginations have to be nurtured because without it, they feel misplaced and have a boring life.
So yeah, this is my first time sharing my poetry, so here goes nothing. Better? Okay. So, bear with me, guys. Things are starting to hit differently lately. Mornings seem to be longer than the restless nights. Sitting down in the shower until temperatures of the water changes seems more enjoyable than going out on the weekends. Sleeping to avoid responsibilities and drinking Red Bull when hungry seems to be the new coping mechanisms. I'm trying to fill the void of loneliness, yet the more I fill, the more empty I become, as if there's a hole in my balloon, like I'm destined to feel alone for the rest of my life. I should feel safe, as though loneliness has been around with me in my whole life. Yet there's a part of me that longs no more to feel this emptiness that lays inside my bony chest. 9,371 days of living, and I just want to put this loneliness to rest. I want to write something poetic, but my mind is so dull and everything's so still. Still like the waves and dark as the sun, red as water and blue as blood, cold as fire and hot as snow. Yet my mind is so dull and everything's so still. People ask me if I've ever tried to write blackout poetry, but when I hear the words, my mind remembers who I used to be. Drunk on the dance floor, drink in each hand, hoping that I could shake this feeling, the feeling of loneliness. Yet underneath my goal was to forget. Forget what it felt like to be in the depths of my own presence and how sad reality was. However, if I could be 8 drinks deep, I wouldn't have to remember. So no, I don't write blackout poetry, because the only blacking out I did was when I was 19.
So I'm here today with that lovely couple. I love them dearly. They're my parents.
You need to raise it a bit more.
Yeah. So I have a love poem that I wrote like a year ago when I was in love. I moved around for a little while, so let me read it for you, I guess. So I kind of dream of a time I fall in love. I kind of dream in my mind when I hold you up. Higher and higher above all else, I want to hold you curled up, just thinking about us. Together in a bed, rest your head on my chest and feel your heartbeat. And your soft, sweet breath, hold your hand and reassure you I am your man till death. Put my hand on your thigh in the car as we drive. Late at night, under the stars, and hear your voice sing like nobody else is even around. Like nobody else is even around. And yes, I want to hear your voice say my name with I love you, said right after. As we fill a room with love and laughter, kisses on my lips and on my cheeks tell you to come closer to me. Rest your head on my chest as I watch you fall slowly and softly asleep. As I dream of a time when I fell in love. Under the midnight sky, flying high above the thoughts in my mind that I think define me. But what defines me is how our fingers intertwine and your voice matches mine. How we can sit and talk for hours and hours from 9 till 5 about our lives. And we'll take showers together. Put a flower in your hair and tell you to never be scared as long as I am there, because I'll protect you from harm. Darling, as long as you're in my arms, I promise to protect you from harm. And I'll play you guitar, singing chords from the heart, about the times we share and how much I care and how you freeze me in my speech. I have no clue what to do or what to say to you. All that can come out is a truthful way of saying, I love you. So I'll never leave your side. You make me feel alive. Make me feel like life just might be all right. I can't explain everything inside, but I promise to give you my life. And I promise when I make you my wife. And yes, with all the strings attached, how our socks have to match, how I can never truly grasp I found someone quite as beautiful as you. Quite as beautiful as you. So yes, I kind of dream about love. It's something I do. Yes, I overthink and I think too much, but yes, I dream about love.
Good evening. I know I keep disappearing on you guys, but it's been pretty dark, like dark night of the soul, kind of dark. But August seems like it has potential. And so here I am. And of course, I ran into Teri yesterday at the parade, and she said, come tomorrow. So here I am. Yeah. First, I will read a poem that I recently wrote, and I haven't read this one yet. It's called The Golden Alignment. I'm the golden ratio, the divine proportion, the golden moon in balance for all. I hold the key to liberation within. Within me lies the golden womb. Dost thou see, dost thou feel the energy within pulsating? It knocks and flows back and forth, waves sharp and wide like oxblood. Catchy with open arms, it is the most revered potion, pouring out divine nectar for opening thine heart. That's the first one. I don't write Shakespeare, but it's been coming with lines of Shakespeare, so I have to Google my own to make sure it's legit. So the next one is called, it doesn't have a name. This one you might have heard on other channels. She's part witch, part extraterrestrial. Her aura, her words, she's so sensational. Everything she touches transforms into gold. She's pure magic in a mold, oh so bold. Unbelievably daring, she creates the impossible. You ask, how is this even possible? And you hear a sound that echoes with no bounds. On and on it billows. She is freedom, she is freedom. The angels are singing. Dost thou hear the heavenly song? Queen of liberty, turquoise waters flow through her veins. She's a mighty balanced flame. What a sight to behold. Queen of liberty, turquoise waters flow through her veins. She's a mighty balanced flame. What a sight to behold. The light of liberation, the flame of transformation. Oh, dost thou see how her eyes gleam? Violet fire, blue sapphire. Transmutes and transpires 'tis the golden hour. It is no make-believe. A threefold flame marching against men triumphant, uniting the nations once again. Galaxies far and wide singing in unison, rejoicing this great liberation. Hallelujah, hallelujah, 'tis the age of Ramon. Thou art the children of her heart, the legacy of her great love, the kingdom of God in form, an unbreakable bond. Much bounty awaits, O gentle souls, just a little more patience.
This is definitely out of my comfort zone, not something I'm used to, so I'm kind of keep it short and sweet here, and I wanted to dedicate this to my uncle, so here I go. I watch at night in the tender glow, my own unwitting prospective foe. I knew you once back in the day, you forced my mind to go astray. Now that I'm older, wiser too, I hate the very thought of you. You caused me hurt and let me burn. Listen to me, it's now my turn. You stopped me once, but not again, destroyed the lives of many men. Didn't give me grace, but showed me hell. Look at me now, I still stand to tell. From the ashes I regained my life, what you call pain, I call my strife. You made me stronger, that I know. Don't forget to wave as you go. Thank you.
One day you want me, another you taunt me. The same ghost that haunts me holds me in suspense. First you dismiss me, then say you've missed me. You know you're a mystery that defies my sixth sense. But the loving you've given me has inspired an epiphany. And now I hear a symphony of feelings so intense that appeal to my humanity, not to mention my vanity. And it stretches my sanity while I'm sitting on this fence. I thought I'd come across a Garden of Eden when I first saw all those butterflies breeding, but I was wrong to give up my reading when I first heard the word. When I think of all the places I've traveled, all my stories begin to unravel. Sounds a bit like Tower of Babel, bordering on the absurd. You're the phantom of my opera, and like other Lepidoptera, you flutter through my daydreams, elusive and sublime. Now I'm reading Deepak Chopra and getting ready to go on Oprah. I'd tell the whole world about you, babe, if I had the time. But it wouldn't enhance my reputation, all that willing subjugation. And you don't deserve the diminution for me to think you're mine. For they say that butterflies are free and whatever will be, will be. But please don't stick a fork in me until you know I'm done. And when the train pulls into Kankakee, let them have what's left of me. Some would think it a delicacy to have me served up warm on a bun with almond grits and a side of chitlin. I'm forever skipping stones and whittling. And I think I'll just pop a few more caps of Ritalin and ride off to the setting sun. Good. Thank you. What next? This one's called Synopsis. Well, I wrote my book from start to end, from my Genesis to Apocalypse, a universe upended. They say you should always write what you know, and that's a rule I tried to follow, transcribing my myths blow by blow from Aphrodite to Apollo. What one man toils to construct, another one tears apart, and every Bible has its rival who upsets the apple cart. So that's where my story starts, with a serpent born of thunder. Those who God has joined in love, that serpent puts us under. And that's how my story goes, somewhere near the middle. Passions sizzle sinfully like eggs on an electric griddle. And that's why my story ends exactly where it began, because someone was always jumping from the fire to the frying pan. And nothing new under this bright sun has ever since been written, once that apple's tender flesh was innocently bitten. And when you get the gist, it's easy to list the pros and antagonists, much like finding the shoe that fits, hearing the penny drop or see the light once lit. There's that old pugnacious pugilist rising on the horizon amid swamp mist. He's the optimistic opti-pessimistic dualist, the one with a tattoo on each fist who's forever supplying the mill with grist, showing no mercy, coercing you to enlist. Then there's that old self-serving philanthropist, the born-again fundamentalist who's crusading as an evangelist, expecting you to enlist. Sorry, just a second. Then coercing you to enlist. Then just when you tire of this, just when you begin to tire of this, the hero meets his nemesis, and that's where the story ends, exactly as it starts. Someone always falls in love, then dies of a broken heart.
Once in a while in the news, you know, you'll see like a boy and a girl, a young man, a young woman from different sides of the war coming together, and, you know, obviously a love romance is happening. It's, you know, we hear the stories of Romeo and Juliet, and I wanted to write one about love that crosses boundaries of family and culture. So here. Always go toward love. Listening to the hurting, the hope, the justifications, the unconscious othering of those people. But hearing the romances blossoming, I sometimes despair of the future, hoping the Romeo and Juliet loves may usher in a new era with children, neither did this nor that, but both. With cafe au lait skin and bilingual stories, I still wonder if the attraction is the forbiddenness of the love or cultural tourism as an aphrodisiac. But still, I hope. They're young. They can't know what it'll be like, or I should say, what it might be like. Will their parents join in each other's dances? Or will the floor be empty with crossed-armed relatives on opposite walls, staring straight ahead, refusing to look, to talk, to smile at each other? Or will love for their beloved daughter, their stalwart, handsome son, the hope of grandchildren, will that usher in a new world? Barely able to live in the same town without raised fists, will love tear down the walls, crack open the inner walls? I say yes, yes, always go toward love, even though you've already lost so much. I want to read a poem I wrote and read a year ago here. A year ago, I burned myself accidentally when I was making an herbal ointment. I spent a month at the Foothills Hospital burn unit, and then I spent another month at home recovering. So this is called Witches Heal, Witches Burn. Witches heal, witches make potions, and witches burn. Me, the descendant of witches and healers, making herbal ointments even today from common weeds, common plants. What we need to heal is around us. What we need is surely around us. I won't be burned at the stake anymore, but a slip of the hand, too heavy a load, perhaps a bit of neuropathy, who knows, and 6 liters of oil and beeswax just off the boiling pour over my hands, my arms, my breasts, my stomach, my side, splash into my hair, and then the slippery floor pulls me down and I sit in burning oil, scarring my seat and my feet, burned all over. Even today, witches make potions, witches heal and witches burn, and witches rise, scarred and strong.
My husband was talking about how he was excited to see his angel on stage, but I don't think he was talking about me. I think he was talking about Dave.
Maybe both.
So, and this one is kind of like experimenting with including Blackfoot with English in my poetry. I don't really have a title. Kinuna inigatsamatsis, ispomokinan apistoduki. Call on the Father, help us, Creator. We live with this intergenerational sickness. The dead can't be named because not all have been found. Tsiksika, where are they? No one made a sound as we were placed in mass graves marked by a headstone, a school. Now no one is left to help me walk this treacherous rope. The Christians come bear witness to ask for forgiveness for what they will do upon the land. Nitsitabi, slaves to the Western nations, using abuse as a tool to butcher our cultures, our families, and our land. This life is littered with the ghostly impressions of my ancestors' possession. Ispomokinan apistoduki, you are our only hope.
You need to get closer to the mic.
Oh, okay.
You need a hand?
Maybe with baby.
Oh, we can take the
We all love Sage. We all love you, Parsley.
Thank you. So, and then also, you guys are doing some saucy ones, and so it's kind of inspired, and I tried, but your fingers touch my skin. My mind is not present, but still I smile and grin, hoping you won't see the turmoil within. Does this count as consent? Your hands gripping my hips, desire shooting up my spine, a moan coming from my lips. I try to remember where I am, my body being caressed by love so divine. My brain is still defending me from a predator. It lurks in the recesses of my mind, telling me I'm a whore as I feel you against my tongue, hot, heavy, warm. Feeling like I'm under the gun, trying to put those feelings behind as I lavish in your desire for me. That's all I had.
Hello. All right, I have a couple for you today. They're both new. This one I wrote a couple months ago. Human tendencies is what it's called. Human tendencies, the nature of our human brain to hold on to annoyances, turbulence, situations which cause a disturbance in our chi, when there's so many blessings and so much beauty surrounding us, the strength it takes for a mind to shed this dark debris. How do I train my brain to block out the disdain, injustice, faulted respect, stingily given yet owed? These circumstances do irk me so, I know, but still it's in my thoughts' control to not get sucked on into this dark side's undertow. Oh, wisdom, do bestow the key I need to relieve this cycle. And though I don't want my mood to be controlled by the lack of decency some possess, their gross negligence of what is right, and a lack thereof a strong moral code, I understand how and why it grinds and ripples through my neurons, replaying even the clumsy and unintentional nefarious encounters, yet never crippling my ability to stay generally positive. And indeed, that is in fact something I am most proud of. I don't want that one flaw in the outstanding fabric to draw my eye's constant gaze, or that moment of utter aggravation in a glorious evening to vortex my attention and place a billowing black cloud on the sun's rays. I will flex my ability to overcome this, or at least get better at wielding this deep-rooted trait in human nature. I will oil my thick skin and let the swamp water of others' tainted treatment sink down the drain and out of my cognizance, and my righteous mantras refrain. I am aware, and with that comes growth, power, and the ability to conquer. This is the path to a more tranquil life, and implementing this notion is the chauffeur. Thank you. All right, And since it's Whoop Up Days, sometimes we know relationships can be quite the wild ride. This poem is called Circles, and it's also a song in the making. And it's new. Okay, here we go. But I'm not gonna sing it, I'm gonna speak it. Running in circles, loop, sure, you ain't no square. Constant circles like this wheel, I spin, you steer. Circles, yeah, it's just an endless sphere, churning circles, but our destination is clear. Circles, old patterns and no budge to adjust. Patience can be lacking, though there's a whole lot of trust. You feel attacked and automatically rebuked, and that's about the time my claws slash back to this ear-clenching verbal slap, and we're in a dispute. Take heed, beware, the dark wheel of Ferris to spinning you backwards. Gravitron, hell, throw me on the zipper too. Vertigo, just the toll I take talking to you. Round route, my lips are speaking, but you can't hear a sound. There's no doubt Zeppelin said it, communication breakdown. Baby, clout, something proven can't possibly scorn. No need for a quick elevation just by being stubborn. Take heed, beware, the dark wheel of Ferris to spinning you backwards. Gravitron, hell, throw me on the zipper too. Vertigo, just the toll I take talking to you. Circles, what I'm trying to say, let's ditch these twirling replays. Trajectory adjust, align and stray from curvature. We rise, we climb, we make it right, oh yes, and we mature. Circles, yeah, baby, they're rare, I know, and perhaps even more so now that this tale has been told. Oh, my fair darling, the desire is universal. Can't catch this wave of understanding when we're running in circles. Thank you.
Okay, the first one is called The Heart of Trauma. The emotional hemophiliac will bleed and bleed and bleed. No matter what touches her heart, nothing can stop her feelings freed from arteries, from veins this soft, so weak that one smile can stab and take away all breath, all strength, to become just an overwhelmed slab of heart with no ribs to hold it in. And so about that heart, let's open the nerve of the stubborn one. Oh, loathe this stubborn, treasonous throbbing. Oh, rejoice if her spite I could disown and escape her loud, impulsive sobbing, out great noisy vengeance on shame she's known. She's been dressed down beneath my business shirt. With firm cautions, you heed my hateful glance. She blows my cover in one viscous squirt, and she shouts, I'm free, while I my pants. She stands and she beats her melancholic drum, plucks out my heartstrings, neither hard nor tough. This diva dares even strangers to come. Come, observe me hemorrhaging down my heart cuff. I have thrown her meat to the hounds of hell, but with new burns, she returns with pounds to tell. And then this one is for Kat because of your poetry up here. So you actually inspired this next one with your tree, okay? So this is called the drama bee. So think about bees, their hives, okay? What is up with this poetry? Well, it's the tree where poet bees go. It's the bird's eye view to safely see the goings-on of all below and pass our poetic judgments. This tree has gone to the birds. I can hardly sleep from their chirping. I watch these neighbors, so absurd. Squirrely types, loudly burping, because we've all gone nuts. I whistle and call for the fuzzy army. File in with your prison stripes. Dump your plunders, dare to charm me. How will we sort life's praise from life's gripes? Come, my trusted writing slaves. My fuzzy butt plops on my cushion, reading articles, watching YouTube, knowing my luck, I'm really pushing when I shout, bring more jujubes, I'm starving over here. I hear someone crying in my hive. Someone is dying with problems. Into their hexagons, dark, we dive. We sit attentive, and here we solve them. We all must work things out. And when we do, we get the sweet blessing of seeing warm golden truth pouring and rising up to meet the challenge of wisdom on each tooth of other hungry fools like us. I'm greeted each day with 1,000 stings. My lips swell shut, my eyes just burn. I'm anaphylactic shocked by sinful things, confessed to unburden each soldier in turn, so we are light enough to fly. When I'm finally left alone to process, I scream, now wax poetic justice. My fine-tooth combs sifts out the nonsense and the pollutions that might soon bust us and kill our poetic swarms. I long to poke sense under lazy bonnets. I pace in circles. I can't get calm until I work frustrations into sonnets and royal jelly to spread for healing balm on an ever-wounded world. Why does the world run away from the poets? Why do they treat us like deadly wasps? They need us, but you'd never know it. Regardless, I would never swap my poetry for their needless fear, because I know we will only live once, and only once will we finally die. May our stingers pierce each fearful dunce who confuses our truth with wasp lies. Then we'll die happy. We are only queen bees for a very short time. Let's be royal pains in our subjects' act. Let's riddle around and buzz out a rhyme while our hearts only beat for the time to pass us back into the ribs of our Father God.
This first one's, I guess, a bit of a love poem. I did some graduate studies in Vancouver several years ago, and I sort of fell in love with the land out there. And even though I'm always going to be a prairie boy, a part of my heart belongs to the ocean now. This one's called Paper Boats. I seek in you the ocean I left behind. I am the kelp forest bleeding upwards, my black-green hair reaching towards your luminous waters. I draw my boat on scraps of newspaper. My heart is wax. Sealed and buoyant, you carry it in your streams and currents. Watch it float and play among white caps, joyous and frothy white. I sail west with Morning Star behind me, but your surf, brilliant crashing, wakes me at dawn. And it is here I draw my anchor with the breeze singing soft against my sunburnt back. Do you see them? Look at all the fish, like spirits, below my feet. Thank you. Okay, this one's kind of like just a work in progress. I've been, chipping away at. I skateboard, and then now that I'm like in my 30s, I'm finding myself being like the oldest dude at the skate park. So it's a pretty cool experience. But this one, sort of working title of Concrete. To fly, to dance, what a beautiful life I've dreamed myself into. The scream of ceramic bearings and urethane shrieks, children with holes in their shoes, in their sneakers, like moccasins with open wounds or otherwise sutured with shoe goo. Teenagers, you were them once too, throwing buttery pop shoves down 8 sets. And even though you've been skating longer than they've been walking, their talent, a seed sprouting infinite roots, their fearlessness, as cool and dense as the earth that nurtures it, far exceeds your own. And yet, they clap their boards' tails against concrete, against coping, in rabid solidarity, stoked on the sketchiest kickflip you just barely rolled away from. Grace, courage, obsession. Here, there is no anxiety, only bodies fluid, growing. Because here the bales are not accidents, but lessons on picking yourself up and trying again. Here, hanging up on a rock and roll and slamming 5 feet below is no failure. only a reminder that you were alive, alive, alive.
This is called I Wish Every Day Was Morning Only. So, I wish every day was morning only, when the light comes in and the sheets are clean and it's you and it's me and the birds are singing in the trees, when our feet brush under covers and no one tells us how to be. Thank God. I'm so sick of that. I'm so sick of, you know what it is? It's unhappy people telling me that my happiness isn't real enough. You're young. You shouldn't put so much faith in yourself yet. You're young. You don't know how to love yet. You're young, and someday you'll understand. Someday you'll understand that life just doesn't get to be good for you. It just doesn't work out that way. And I just, shut up. Like, I was not born to bear the burden of your guilt. You should have looked at it. You should have put it down. And me, well, I think I'm too young to hate my life that much. Right now, I'm having a pretty good time swimming in rivers. Right now, I'm drinking cheap wine and making friends at farmers markets, and right now, I'm laughing because I have so much time to write so many love letters. And speaking of love, don't drag me into your yelling and your hating your husband's sentiments, and don't say that it's just like that when maybe you married the wrong person because you were so scared of all of your guilt about your dreams not coming true, and you needed to distract yourself with trying to change. Aren't you embarrassed? You stand there and you belittle the one that you said you'd cherish forever, and you think you're the one who's right? You're over here with your day drinking themed decor and you're hating your husband's sentiments while your husband bullies teenage girls on TikTok for saying like too much, and you want to tell me that I don't know what love is because I like my boyfriend still? I can't believe that this is our accepted rhetoric. Do you know how crazy that is? I'm not sorry that we don't yell at each other. I'm not sorry that I love to imagine a future with him. I'm not sorry if you think what I write about love is ridiculous. I'm not going to end up like you. To me, love is something to believe in. Call me foolish if you want to, but I believe it's the only thing that we have. All that we have is each other. Everything else is fake. I don't know why we have a stock market. But when I cook and it fills someone up, I am happy. When I sing to a baby, I am happy. When I hold a hand, I am happy, and I love it. And I love to love it. And I love to be in love because it feels like invention. You know, it feels like the world is kinder. Especially when it's morning, and we're going to make coffee, and I'm going to do all of my jobs full of love, and I know that your world will not make me unkind. You just won't do that to me. There is laundry to hang on the line. There are kids to teach. The kettle is on and people are coming later. And we will survive the apocalypse because we are good people, because we have to be.